All right, guys, welcome to episode 148. I can't believe we're this far up there, dude, of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. Uh, y'all, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff tonight, actually. Lots and lots of stuff. The circuit is next week. We're going to talk about Mother Road Mayhem. Eric has a ton of stuff in the J-Wire segment that I haven't even looked at, if that gives you any idea. So this will all be new to me, which will be kind of fun. And then we will have Brandon Dollar on the second half of the first hour to talk about Street Car Bragging Rights, his experience there, to talk about Lowdoller Motorsports, of course, our newest sponsor here at the brand, but also to kind of tell some fun stories of the early days, which him and I've told this story, but him and I were on the phone for about 45 minutes. It was awesome. And then we're going to end the show with Nick Rinehart and Evan Uerkwitz. It's going to be awesome. Sick Week Pro Street class record setters in Nick's 6-second Street Nova. So it's going to be a great show. Get comfortable, get your favorite drink, and get ready. Mr. Eric White, hit that intro, please, sir.
All right, let's go.
All right, and before we jump in, I just want to let all of the people that are on watching for the Circuit 2026 stuff jump in the Circuit Racers Facebook group and ask questions in there. Eric and I are busy for the next 2 hours. We're talking about getting registered for Tulsa. So if you guys don't know, my name is Mike Narks. I'm the host of the show that you're watching here and the news on Saturday mornings, and also the host of the Circuit 2026 Drag and Drive, which is next weekend, and my right-hand man, Mr. Eric White. What you got going on, dude?
I am Eric White, co-host of the show and news, and this is my first live stream, being 40 years old now. So,
dude, does your back hurt?
Knees are sore and back's a little sore. As I was mowing today, I was looking. I was like, maybe I should start to learn how to edge my sidewalks and stuff. That seems like a 40-year-old thing to do now too.
That's an adult male thing. Yeah. Now that you're grown up and you are a distinguished gentleman, it's time to break out that edger and get those curves right, man. Come on, man. Golly, I can't believe it. Well, y'all listen, I'm telling you, today's been awesome in ways you'll never understand. It's been kind of crazy all over the place. And I want to say thank you to all of our race car friends. Y'all, it's so cool to basically have some people have my back, man. It's this whole week is going to be crazy. It only gets crazier as we lead into the next week, getting into the circuit and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you, having a bunch of race car friends hanging out on Sunday at Mother Road Mayhem and then going to be doing the circuit this next week, I'm overloaded. It's going to be awesome. And just want to say thanks to everybody that's out there that is what we consider our race car friends. And of course, sponsors, man, we can't do these shows, can't do the events, can't do these travels that Eric is fixing to come down to. I mean, like we just before the show, we're talking about rental cars and flights and all that kind of stuff. We can't do that without these sponsors. So if you are shopping, please hit these guys up. Of course, Summit Racing probably carries most anything and everything that's below in this list. Deechworks, of course, the official fuel delivery of Drag Drive Repeat, and really probably most drag and drive, to be honest. At this point, they got it in a chokehold. Molly Motorsports, best pistons and rings on the market. Driven Racing Oil, dude, they've been all over the place. Big shout out to Michael Neal, who was just at Street Car Bragging Rights. That dude's been Funny Car Chaos in Tulsa, then drove straight to North Carolina. So it's pretty cool. Howard's Cams, Luke B, man, that guy's been busy this last week, dude. He texted me yesterday. He's like, okay, obviously talking about big lift, big block Fords is going to get people riled up. So He said he's had a good time. J-Wire Solutions, of course, Jay Blanchard coming down. 3-peat. Can they 4-peat at the circuit with the quickest quarter-mile car there? AFCO Racing Products, Performer-Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, and Lowdoller Motorsports, who's on later tonight. Brandon Dollar will be on tonight. It's going to be awesome. And then, of course, our other partners, PowerTube TV and Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all, if you're doing some stuff, get over there, see those folks, and we're going to let Brian Loans tell us about how awesome Summit is.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
And I don't have a topic for this, and I told Eric this before the show, but it's really because I've been so dang busy. But I just wanted to say while we have this up on the screen, thank you to Summit for being incredible. They're great partners of ours here at Drag Drive Repeat. They're huge supporters of the drag and drive community, of course, being at events, doing all the cool stuff there. But then also, you know, I also do a lot of work in drag racing outside of that, Midwest Drag Race Series, the Tulsa Raceway Park. They're big parts of all of that stuff. So big shout out to Summit and all they do for us. And bro, they have Drag Drive Repeat merch in stock. Like if you're passing one of those locations, you can drive into the retail store and buy Drag Drive Repeat merch. So freaking badass. But if you aren't passing a store on your way to the circuit next weekend, I will have a whole bunch of stock. I bought a lot of stock from them, and we will be reselling it at the circuit 2026. I'm kind of excited. Shirts, hats, hoodies, big brim hats, and the brand new baseball caps. So it'll be kind of cool.
I'm excited to see those.
Oh, for sure. All right. Well, let's talk about Drag Drive Repeat stuff. The first topic here is Mother Road Mayhem. First single day drag and drive event for us to host. Is incredible, dude. I hate that you missed it. It's really sad because I'm telling you, by the time we get rolling in these things, this is going to be a great way to add people to the community, which is what it did. I don't want to give away too many details because we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but 17 cars. I learned a whole lot. I ran basically the whole front side by myself, like inputting times, registering people, doing all that kind of stuff. What I really enjoyed about this was that it was so laid back. With so few cars, it made it much easier. So really got to hang out with a lot of people throughout the day and stuff like that. I will say one day it maybe isn't enough. We're going to test it on the 2-lane showdown here in a minute or in a month. But you versus you, how about one by less than 100th of a second out of a 2-pass average? And then the Larsons, bro. For anybody that's coming to the circuit that is going to be in the 650 index, get ready to duke it out with them. Sean won it with a 6.542. Abby, second place, 6.5505 average.
Nice.
Dude, it was awesome. So that's all I'm going to tell you now. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But 2-lane, I said showdown, 2-lane throwdown. I'm sorry. June 20th. This is kind of a cool event because not only is it with Motorama that morning, which has a bunch of like old cars and car show and cruise in and cars and coffee style feel, that is an open test and tune and stuff. It also will wrap into, and the reason we're featuring a Ford up front on this is it is in with the Mid-America Route 66 Ford and Shelby Nationals, which will be really cool because there's thousands of Ford and Shelby cars coming from across the country, one from, I think, Australia or Europe or something like that being shipped over. This is June 20th, another single day deal. But what's cool about this is we're actually going to run that morning like normal, like we did the other day. But last time we only had until 3. This time we have until 1. They shut the track down, get all of our stuff cleaned up and out of the way. And then they're going to run 3 to 7 for the Mid-America Route 66 Nationals for their kind of open test and tune Saturday night. So that'll be a bit of a change from the Sunday morning type deal for us. So because Deechworks is our Feed the Racer sponsor, we're going to find a lunch spot and we're going to cover some lunches and do some fun stuff. We're going to take a different route on Route 66. So that'll be kind of cool. Different route on Route 66. How do you say it? Is it Route 66? Route 60? I don't know. It's Route 66 to me. But we're going to take a different direction there and going to be the same 6 classes, which was a ton of fun and people had a blast. I think having the longer format will definitely help people like James Esmond. I'm looking at you, sir, and Ryan and Blaine Burge. Dude, these guys didn't leave the track. This was a it was a 70-mile round trip drive. They didn't leave the track till 1, and we had to be done by 3.
Oh, man.
Like, James Esmond and Michael Howard come sliding in literally 250, I think, is when they got back to their pits, swapped tires real quick, and Jimmy was nice enough to give us 15 more minutes. And they only made like 1 pass each. I think Michael made 2. I think he hot lapped and came back around, but pretty incredible. So going to be a ton of fun. So this will give us more time to do that and more ability to, pitch, drag and drive to all the people that are around there.
That'll be a ton of fun.
Yep. And then I'm not even talking about registration on this until after we open registration for the short circuit, which is probably sometime mid-May, early May, something like that. I want to get through the circuit, and then we'll start focusing on registration for that stuff. So, just typical stuff. The circuit updates, dude, 8 days. We have 1 weekend left for people to wrench on their stuff. Getting phone calls and messages. I probably had 3 messages today. Dudes, I don't know if I'm going to make it, man. I'm waiting on insert part name here. And if it doesn't get here, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to bring my daily and race my daily. So obviously that is definitely something that you can do. Plan B's, plan C, plan D, plan, hey, honey, can I borrow your car? We don't care. Bring it. Let's just have some fun, man. I mean, like, you don't have to be competitive in a class. Just come have fun. So if you are going to change, please send us a message. Let me know. And then also let's change classes if you need to as well. And yes, as Richard Brewer, the Dirty Panda himself says, peak anxiety. That is for sure. So we'll get into that here in just a second as well. Look at all these boxes, bro. This is what I'm picking up tomorrow at Get Gapped, or the great apparel printing and design company Karen Cohn and her husband Justin run, because there's
only a couple.
Yeah, I hope these fit in a Ford F-150.
In the bed?
Well, the bed, inside, the passenger seat, I don't care. Like, as long as it fits. So I've already grabbed the ratchet straps from the old truck when I took it over to Tulsa on Sunday. I've thrown them in this truck. So if we got to stack them deep, better believe it, I'm going to do it. So this will be kind of fun. More than 600 t-shirts there, and right around 25 or 30 hoodies, I think, something like that. So should be a ton of fun to get those in. And again, big shout out to her. They are incredible people, and we love to hang out with them and love that they are part of the program here. One pass, I'm going to go ahead and say it now because of what we're going to talk about right after this. But there's only going to be 1 pass required on Friday. So I think we did this setup the last 2 years has really kind of made this way, but I'm going to set it now. So I've printed the punch cards. Only 1 pass will be required on Friday because there will be some registration stuff that people will be pushed later in the day on. So we want to make sure that we have enough time and we don't make these people make 2 passes on Friday. But Saturday and Sunday both will still require 2 passes. So we will have a 5 pass average for the circuit 2026. And then this here, we are going to move some things around because of what we're going to talk about right now. So Tech will be now up by the tower. Both days, Thursday and Friday, will be up by the tower, simply because you're going to have to go into the tower to do the Tulsa Raceway Park registration, which was an email that I sent out a little bit ago. And then Outtake sent the email late on their side. So I apologize. I made a bunch of people panic. Didn't mean to do that. But that's the way it goes in the life of promotion here. So essentially, Tulsa Raceway Park has come up with a brand new, or they haven't come up, they have put into place a brand new, it's a state-of-the-art ticketing system, registration system. It will be better for everyone. I promise. I go through this every day with people about Tulsa Raceway Park. I've seen how much this can work, or how well this can work for the community. But it does take an extra about 4 steps. Okay. So I sent an email, tells you to do it. There's a link in that email that takes you to the free ticket page. There is a code that you will get from the Outtix company, outix.co, to your email that has a unique transaction ID. That is the struggle. If we had one transaction ID, it would have made my life 100 times easier, but we can't with this new system because we need everybody tied into this, to their own account essentially. So what you're doing is you're registering for the event, you're putting in your car info, you're putting in your name, all that kind of stuff. Here's the benefit to this. There's no more handwriting a tech card. When you get there, you have this QR code that you're going to get. You walk into the office and you go beep, and they say you're good to go, and they give you your wrist. They give you, they tell you to go ahead because we're going to give you your wristbands and stuff outside. So it's going to be much easier. It's going to be better. I promise. There's Sean Larson right there. Going to be much better. Going to be much easier. It's going to save time if everybody will do this ahead of time. The struggle is going to be if you do not do this ahead of time, it sucks because there's 30 people standing there with you, and it took 45 minutes to get through this with just 17 people on Sunday. If we have 170 people, it's going to be 4 or 5 hours, and you're going to miss making a pass on Friday because of this. I'm telling you, Brian, cut this, chop it. I want it posted 10 times a day between now and the circuit. Register ahead of time, please, please, please. Sweet baby Jesus, save me the hassle because I don't want to hear it. Okay, that's all I'm going to complain. That's all I'm going to complain about the circuit.
We had a question here. Can we choose to make more than one pass on Friday?
100%. The folks that are that get through the lanes and all that kind of stuff, please make as many passes as you can. We will do, and I don't have this in the notes, so I'm sorry, but we will have a Class A and Class B, and then an open run. So Class A is 1149 and quicker, slick and radial cars. Class B is 1150 and slower, slick and radial cars, and then open run is open to hard tires. Hard tires will run first in the open run, and then we will run everybody in behind then. So we have 10 to 4 on Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday, and then I think 11 to 3 is what I have on Sunday. So because by then we'll have less cars. Good. I think that's all good. We've got several days. A lot of this will be coming in emails. Be watching the Drag Driver Pete page. Be watching the event page. Be watching your emails as well. That's all I can say. If you have questions, hit us up. But man, my phone's going off right now like crazy. So, Mr. Eric White, tell us about some Driven Racing Oil stuff.
All right.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
Is Junior Street in open run?
I don't know. It'll depend on their car, to be honest. So if your car is a hard tire, you'll run an open run. We'll definitely call Junior Street on its own because we don't want them mixed in. But I don't know yet. That's a great question.
And Buckeye Skips here saying they have 5 spots left.
Wow. Yep, man, bring it on. Let's sell that thing out, dude.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, looking at events for the month of April, we have 3 of them that were completed over the weekend, which is awesome. So Braggin Rights, Chaos Cruise, and Mother Road Mayhem all completed. So that leaves us with the Carolina Drag Cruise, April 22nd, which is today, starting today at Shadyside, which is awesome. And then, obviously, if you guys didn't know this already, the circuit is April 30th. That's only 8 days away, Tulsa Raceway Park.
Bring it on, man.
And so some bragging rights stuff. A couple here that I saw. Matt Lamphere, runner-up in the SCBR class. So that was the Street Car Bragging Rights sports class. So picked up a runner-up there, which is cool. Dragon Drive Racer there. And, of course, the man, Mr. Alan Whitaker, the winner of the heavyweight outlaw class, and just went out there and hammered down on that.
That's awesome.
So couple drag and drive racers there showing out at Street Car Bragging Rights. And then Chaos Cruise happened again. Always love these I Survive stickers. So see a couple of those there, and people had those on their cars. Looks like that was a great turnout there as well.
Yeah, it looks like they had a ton of fun.
Yeah. And then jumping into our May events, we have the Mickey Thompson Turn and Burn. And for some reason, this date always trips me up. May 5th through 9th. Feels like it's still so far away, but it's only 13 days away.
Oh my God, dude, what? No way.
Yeah. So 13 days at Summit Motorsports Park. Going to be an awesome event there. Back to the streets, May 20th at Bunker Hill. And where else are they going?
Brown County? Dude, Brown County? Did you go to Brown County?
I don't know if we've mentioned that before, but they are going to Brown County.
Yeah, I'm in.
That is 28 days away. Again, coming up quick as well. Drop the Hammer, the first event of theirs, May 28th. Mid-Michigan Motorplex, that's 36 days away. And also that same day, Six Speed Fest kicks off the 28th at Beach Bend Raceway, 36 days away. So again, another solid month of events coming up. And for the Mickey Thompson Turn and Burn, they've been hammering out some artwork here in the last couple days. So you can see Lutz is going to be there, Finnegan, Alex Taylor, Tom Bailey, all of those are going to be at Norwalk. They've got time set aside for meet and greets. They've got a pretty sweet schedule set up there. So again, that's going to be a fun event. It's another one I wish I could be at, but god dang, having a real job just keeps getting in the way of all my vacation time.
Yeah, hey, I hear that.
All right, so you guys know code DDR10 for that 10% discount on Driven Racing Oil website. And I didn't mention this earlier. I think I forgot to put it in the notes, but the motor for the Mustang is going to the machine shop next week before I head down to the circuit, so it can get cleaned, it can get magnafluxed, and then when I come back, it'll be done. I can pick it up, and then it's on from there. We'll start building. So I'll probably be hitting up Driven Racing Oil to get some assembly lube to put the motor together. And man, excited for that. And we got Dad's Nova. We got the fuel tank put in yesterday. So for the first time, his car, he can go out and start it with a key. No more dipping a hose into a gas can to get the fuel in there. So I told him that thing will probably run all day, every day now that he can just go out there and fire it up. Yeah. So pretty awesome.
Dude, that's cool, man. That is so cool.
And then I think, what are we at? 51 events, is it right now? 51 events for the year.
If you include the Roadrunner rally or whatever, that was canceled. So 50, I guess, total.
Okay. 50 events, man. Pretty crazy. You can find those at dragdriverpete.com/event list-2026. And that is in the chat now.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right. Well, let me hit this J-Wire ad, and then we're going to talk about Mother Road Mayhem.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jwiresolutions.com.
Oh yeah. So this one we'll kind of go back and forth on because obviously you were at the event and I wasn't. So we're going to start out here with the 12.0 index class. Winner there. Well, I just lost my notes. Winner there was decided by .083 margin, so pretty close there. Longtime drag and drive racer Don Harmon taking home the win, and second place was a newcomer. It looks like.
Yeah, Ryan Burge came all the way from Beebe, Arkansas, 280-mile trip.
That's awesome, and he had a Mustang. That's right.
Burge had a Chevy truck, cat eye, regular cab, short bed truck, sounded incredible. And then Don Harmon does drive a 65 or 7 Mustang, and I think his trip was like 4 hours. Yeah, that one, whatever that year is.
So this is your 12-0 winner. So pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
Do you remember what his time was?
Dude, don't be asking me hard stuff like that. I think it was a 12:02, to be honest.
Okay.
12:02, 12:04, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then you versus you, of course, all the time. That class is so close. 2 passes based on the spread of those two. Jeff Short literally hot lapped that truck in the morning session trying to get times. What was pretty interesting is him and his co-pilot were talking before they left, and they're like, man, I don't know, can we rerun the 1172 pass that he had put up earlier? And because they were going to come back, it was going to be warmer, all that kind of stuff. They end up locking in with that one, and then his spread total 0.015.
Wow.
0.015. Yeah, pretty awesome. And then the other newcomer in that class, runner-up with Cody Reese behind him, 0.008 behind him with a 0.23 spread. So, dude, that class is so fun to watch. Doug Gearick in his first drag and drive. So it's 2 brand new drag and drive racers taking number 2 and number 3, took 3rd place with a 0.1 spread, just ahead of Brandon Parker, who had a 0.167 4th place finish.
That's awesome to see.
I got to meet Brandon's wife, Jessica. It's so cool. She's so nice. To let him out of the house like that as often as she does, she's awesome. We knew that already, but actually to get to meet her in person and all the fun stuff. She had great stories, and this was her first drag and drive as a co-pilot.
That's awesome. Always good to see new faces coming in too.
Oh, definitely.
And Derek Putnam said 68 Mustang, and it was a 12:03 average.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So the next class is one that you were just talking about. This is the 650 index class. And boy, was this a battle royale of the toughest power couple at the event. Pretty awesome. And one of the toughest in drag and drive in general. So Abby and Sean Larson duked it out for the closest pass all day long. And they must have made a ton of passes for this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And what I didn't learn until afterwards was that Sean had raced the night before at Thunder Valley and had driven the car from Thunder Valley to Tulsa.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he had already done his he'd done, another drag and drive within that.
So Abby was in the Trailblazer, Sean in the GTO. And when they left for their drive, Sean was leading by 0.015. That's pretty tough.
It was close. And it was funny when they got back, they were just making passes. And then Abby come running up and she's like, hurry, can we lock this in right now? He's in the lanes. And if we don't do it right now, he may win.
And he made one more pass to lock in that win.
Yep. Obviously it was his last pass. He knew what he had to run and he got it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so he ended up with a 6.542 average, and Abby finished with a 6.550 average. So, man, pretty close.
Yeah, so the last pass is pretty close here. So Abby had submitted a 6.532 as her pass to lock in her time, and then Sean went up and ran a 6.529, beat her by 0.003 of a second to come in ahead, but he had obviously he was leading when they left, took that 0.003 and just opened that gap up some. So, 6.542 to a 6.55 with a 0, pretty close, man.
My question here is, do you think she made him sleep on the couch when they went home?
No way. I think they're power couple enough that it fueled them both. They thought the whole way home about how to be faster than the other one. I'm almost certain of it.
That's awesome. And these are going to be 2 racers that are going to be at the circuit. So 650 index class, you guys better watch out.
Yeah, better be ready on point. And Cody Ham going to come out in the Mel Jeep and do some circuit racing with us as well. Kind of excited about that. Up next, Tailgate, sponsored by Cornerstone Performance Transmissions. Big shout out to Alex Arquette down there. This was a fun class to watch. Dustin Cottle came out swinging, first pass out of the gate, 8.531. Just everybody was like, what? What are you talking about? Or, I guess that was his second pass down the track, but he ended up finished with an 8.77 with an 8 average for the day. Ended up at like a 9.0, I think, something for his second pass because he was so far ahead. He didn't want to lean on it with the circuit being next weekend.
Yeah. And then jumping into the stick shift class, another power couple here in Drag and Drive. The Lowrys, Kevin and Cassie, brought down the stick shift supercharged 57 wagon. This thing is so awesome to see. Such a cool car. And Kevin ended up with a PB in the car of a 12.395 during the morning session. So pretty cool. And after their drive, they didn't let up and backed it up with a 12.484, giving them a 12.439 average.
Yeah, I love this couple. They're so awesome. They parked right by the table, and it was perfect to just be able to hang out with them all day. Yeah. Power Adder class was, had the Divco milk truck in it. It was awesome to see Nick Cryer come down, hang out. It was really fun to spend some time with him. They weren't excited about the event by the end of it, but to start, it was great. It was great. They did a nice wheelie. Truck ran good. They made about 15 miles, and that was about it. But that class was won by James Esmond in the Groot S10, which he did the short circuit with us in November. And since then, all he talks about is Drag and Drive. He has completely been bit by the bug and is on it. 8.95 average for him, which was faster than what he had at the short circuit. And I'm telling, when I say this dude pulled in at 250, literally in the gate at 250, I was watching it and drove back there, swapped tires real quick, and made a pass and locked it in. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I want to give a shout out to Charles Judd, who is one of our track photographers at Tulsa Raceway Park. Dude was out there. I mean, he didn't have to be. I appreciate him coming out. The Motorama photos that he has of the car show portion of the event, I didn't put those in our Drag and Drive part. I only put the ones that I took in there. But if you guys want to see some great photography, Charles Judd does an incredible job. Basically every event that we have at Tulsa Raceway Park, he's out grabbing photos and then lets us share those out. So we appreciate that.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And JWR saying, going to see us on Thursday, man. I can't wait. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. And then of course, like we said earlier, 2-lane throwdown going to be June 20th. So if you want to get in on some of this single day Drag and Drive, that's going to be a great event as well. And big shout out to JWire. I can't wait to hang out with him, see if they can Pete be the quickest in the quarter mile and be on the shirts for the 4th year in a row. This is a 2024 shirt and the Gray Nova's on the back. So,
oh yeah.
Just saying. All right. Oop. Sorry.
Let's hit this Molly ad and then we'll bring in Lowdoller Motorsports.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together, so all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
Man, I'm excited about this conversation. This is going to be a good one. And not just because Brandon is an awesome dude. He's fast. So much stuff of what they've done at Lowdoller Motorsports was to just continue to push the sport forward. And man, I can't wait to hear some of the stories. So let's go ahead. We'll bring him on. We'll put him here in the big stage. Mr. Brandon Dollar, tell us what's up, man. What are you working on? You're working on stuff. You're at the shop.
Yeah, I'm inputting data logs, man. I'm adding data or timestamps into logs from Street Car Braggin Rights so that I can figure out where the problem lies. We heard some stuff, so
dang it.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you just come off a 2,400 mile road trip, man. That's
yeah.
Did that have anything to do with
awesome.
some of this stuff?
No, I don't think so. No, I did a complete engine vital check before we went racing, and everything was healthy. Like everything was spot on. No metal to be found anywhere in the engine. Compression test was perfect. Leak down was great. I changed all the valve springs in it. Just scoped every cylinder, checked the bore. Everything looked great. Hash marks looked perfect. Like everything was, man, I'm shocked at how good a shape it was still in, to be honest with you. I expected to find some severe wear, and I didn't find anything.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I put valve springs in it. Was like, let's go test it out, right? And we went down to Edgewater 2 weekends ago, and it's our local track. We're like, well, let's oh, I love you, Rob. I don't know if you guys see Rob here.
Oh
he's,
yeah.
He's the local yokel. He's our he's police, and
Nice.
I always give him shit about that. So good dude. But yeah, where are we at? So tested it out down there on the no prep surface, and it was pretty good. I mean, A to B tune up, just super duper soft. We had it on slicks. I don't know if you guys saw the video I did. I did a video with Gen 2 Garage with Tommy, and man, it was cool. We got to nerd out together and like really just go through some data. And we took my car that is not a no prep car. It is not a backside or a front side no prep at all. It's a heavy drag and drive car with a combo in it that makes it sit with all the other real race cars. So we're like, well, let's just give it a shot. So we threw some numbers in it, zeroed everything out, and went some like 490s off the trailer. I'm like, okay, we got something to work with. We kept chipping away, and we ended up drawing Billy in his Nova in the finals. So it didn't turn out in our favor, but we gave him a fairly good run. It was about a car apart. So I feel like for the 4 passes that we had on the books on a slick, we held our own. So that was fun. And then we loaded up and we headed to North Carolina to do Street Car Braggin Rights. And that is radial surface stuff. So we kind of went back over the numbers, and I reset the suspension and everything, added some lead to the front of it. Went out, and I think we went like our very first pass off the trailer was like a 7. Let's see here. Off the trailer, we went it's pretty fast. I don't remember what it was though. 717 at 200 off the trailer. So it's like, all right, we've got something to work with. We're pretty slow off the 123 to the 60. So we were just baby soft on it. 314 to the 330, 470 to the 8th mile. But what was impressive is we went through the 1,000-foot mark on that pass at 182, and in the remaining 300 feet, we picked up 20 some odd mile an hour on that pass. So the back split was pretty wicked. So we made some changes and kind of found where the tire liked to be, and then turned it up a little bit more, and we ended up going like 691 on Q1 at 209 mile an hour, something like that, 200 point something, 208.8. So roughly 209 mile an hour. Unfortunately, I screwed up. On this one. You know, the meme that everybody posts with Spider-Man pointing at everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Whose fault is it? The fingers go to this guy. So we learned a lot on the drive when we drove this car all the way down to Florida. What we learned is that it burns oil. So it burnt roughly 6 quarts of oil from Indiana to Tennessee, right? So within that 600 miles, that was mid Tennessee, Sweetwater, Tennessee. We did an oil change halfway down, and then we did another one when we were headed home. We recognized it still burnt 6. So our numbers are pretty concrete that this thing on street drives burns about a quart of oil per 100 miles, right? Sounds excessive, but if you talk to any of the big guys, this is what an engine eats, right? Like if you want tolerances that if you want an engine that will live at this kind of power, you're going to have some blow by. It's enough to burn some oil. And that's what it does. Also, we found out that a big portion of this, though, is actually coming from the turbos. I believe that we have an issue. We've got Precision Next Gen XPR 88s on it. The billet center section cheated up X275 turbos, or whatever you want to call them, LDR turbos in the twin combination. We found out that they do not like turbo blankets, though, on the exhaust side. When you retain all that heat, my understanding from another racer that got this directly from Precision, if they're listening, they can correct it if need be. My understanding is on these turbos, the tolerances are so tight that when you heat the entire thing up and you don't let any of that energy escape because you got a blanket on it, it grows, seals grow, it passes oil past the rings, and it burns some oil. You don't notice any smoke, nothing like that at all. But we believe between that and the rings that it's probably burning it's burning a quart somewhere per 100 miles. So on this event, I changed the oil last week before, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And we had a good friend of mine lost his son. And we did a funeral for him and went down and did some burnouts for Henry, which was awesome. And then I just decided, what the hell, let's just drive this thing around. And then we had the Bible study over at Tin Soldier, so I drove it to Kentucky, and then I drove it back home, and then I took it to my kids' robotics meet, and I drive the car, right? I drive it. I put 200 miles on it. Well, if you're a smart man, you would have done the math, and you would have said, hey, it had 11 quarts in it. It takes 10 in the pan, 1 in the filter. It had 11. It's now 200 miles past that, so we were 2 quarts low. And based on the data logs, when I would hit the parachute, or when the parachute would deploy, it would throw the remaining amount of oil that was in the pan to the front, start the engine, and it got some bearings. So we are in the process right now, pulling the motor out and get it apart, get some bearings in it, polish the crank up. The biggest thing is just cleaning all the metal that this makes. It's everywhere, Yeah. So we cut the filter
and all of the stuff, passages and everything.
Everything, yeah. So we remake every oil line on the car when we do this. We don't reuse any of our AN oil lines. It's not worth it when you're got an engine this caliber. You spend the extra $30-$40 for a couple feet of line every time you hurt one.
The other stuff too is if you don't clean that out, that stuff's going to end up back in the pan, going to end up back on the magnet. You're going to think something else is wrong. Oh, dang it. We got metal in it.
You're lucky if it goes to the magnet, that would be ideal. The reality is that a lot of times it gets passed back through, So if you've got metal in the engine block galley, let's say it's in the block that feeds the cam, or the lifters or anything. Any of that metal that you leave in there just gets pushed right back through. Yeah. So anything that's after the oil filter right now, if you don't get it clean, will still go back through and run through the bearings and destroy all your bearing surfaces and tear everything up. So quick, guys, it's kind of messed up here.
That's no good.
So it's almost something, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, when you run a car at that level, it is always something. I can only imagine. It's always something on the 450 horsepower truck I have. I can't imagine what it's like on something that makes, 4 or 5 times that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
Right. Let's back up. Let's talk about some early stuff, because you and I, we joked a little bit on the phone call early on that, this all kind of started because you were at the right place at the right time, working with the right people. So give us, the early days of Lowdoller Motorsports. What's the story there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started life as a kid that hated school, and just was not a good student, right? consistently just your solid DF student. Wasn't for me. Fumbled my way through school eventually, and ended up getting an opportunity to work for a robotics company, and was just kind of hired hands, man, and just assembling controls. And I had a knack for wiring. I always thought it was cool. I worked under a guy by the name of PJ Kirker. He was our shop foreman. He was really good at wiring. He was a very clean wiring guy. And then I had two awesome engineers. I had Ed Coleman and Kevin Hallen that I worked underneath over at Monarch Automation. So I worked for a large distributor of automated machine components, and eventually I worked my way up into like an outside sales position where I was essentially a sales engineer without any school, right? So like my title as a sales engineer, in all reality, I was just a degenerate idiot with a business card. But I got to do some really cool stuff, right? I got to work on and specify components, and a lot of what we did was pneumatic. So I had 10 years of experience in pneumatic controls. So things like boost control, that's what I did for a living, right? Sensor technology, that's what I did. So we would make things move. We would assemble parts, right? We specified components to assemble stuff. So a lot of automated machines, factory maintenance, or factory automation. And then I had my own race car because I grew up at the drag strip, and I could barely afford to buy the junkyard. I traded like some headers that I had for a stock bottom end 5.3 that had a couple 100,000 miles on it. We stuffed some Gen 4 rods in it, and I didn't have money for Mallory to put in the crankshaft to get the thing balanced at the time. So we actually drilled the flywheel. We took weight out of it, 180 out from where it needed weight at. So we took an internally balanced engine, made it externally balanced. We ran that motor for a few years. And then I started building G meters because like I realized real quickly that this was power wasn't my issue at that time. This was 2007 or 2015-ish probably. Power wasn't my issue. It was applying that power. And I needed a way to measure that, and I worked with some really smart engineers, and there's J-Wire for me, bud. Some really smart guys, and basically they were able to say, hey, this is what you need, right? And I would ask my engineers like, hey guys, how do I do this? Just a dumb sales guy. And they would be like, for sure, man, here's how you do it. And I would come in with some like off the wall questions, and my engineers were freaking awesome. Like the guys that I worked with, they didn't realize what they were doing for me, but they were propelling me and my ability to collect data above and beyond pretty much the entire industry at that point in time. I had more data collected on a stock bottom end 5.3 combo than anybody. Like we were logging shit that nobody was logging. We were looking all kinds of stuff. And then I ran into Adam Hodson and my buddy Muffrey Jenkins. And my buddy Muff, we met at Street Car Takeover years and years ago, and he was my very first customer. He was like, hey man, I heard that you are building these G meters and whatnot. Like, I want one. So he bought him and his buddy Chris Bashir one, and one. Oh, dude, that's all, buddy.
Listen, I dug to the bottom of the photo gallery on Lowdoller to get these. Yeah. So I grabbed this, and then this.
Good
right
Lord,
here.
look at
that. Yeah. So thought that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that was when I was still hand building out of the basement.
Yeah.
So it's come a long way. Muff Jenkins was Justin Spiniolis is his real name. He's undoubtedly the creator of this company. He is the guy that looked at me and said, you should do this. He was the one that gave me confidence to do this. He was my R&D guy as well. He was the guy. So like 80% of the portfolio that you see was developed between me and Justin on his truck when he was making hits on the street. Like, I mean, we had 3 different G meter iterations in his truck at any given point, it seemed like. You know, we were like, he's like, this one looks like this looks like this. We would nerd out and go over data. And then it would just, between him and I, we would sit down and go, well, why did the truck do this? Right? Why did it do this here? And then he would almost say, can you come up with a way to measure that? Right? And I'd be like, yes, I think I know how. But then I would go back to work and sit down with my engineers and they would go, yeah. And what was cool is I had such deep ties there that they would put me in touch with like really smart people, right? Like I had really smart people, but they knew really smart people. So yeah, a lot of what you get from Lowdoller is stuff that we developed and sold and used in the automation industry under one of the biggest German names in the industry. So
Wow.
really high
How
quality
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, and then to be, the conversation you and I were having was like, how do you take stuff that's already being used for other stuff and then turn it into car related things? You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it takes like having the ability to understand and just ask that right question. Eric works in a lot of fun. You and him could probably nerd out pretty well. Me, I'm not smart
is
enough
it?
to nerd out with you. Eric here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, y'all
Nice.
could probably nerd out on some fun stuff. Eric, what you do all kinds of cool shit at your job too, right?
Yeah, aerospace fuel delivery for aerospace.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fuel delivery. Okay. So you got some pressure transducers in those on the fuel delivery side.
Yep.
A lot of the metering is done through that as well, right?
Yeah, most of what we do is fuel metering.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, we just
So
started thrusters for SpaceX type stuff too for changing directions.
interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Scott, do you guys know who Scott Clark is by chance?
Yeah, I mean, I know the name.
Big
Yeah.
tuner. Yeah,
Mhm.
Scott's a Scott ruffles feathers a lot. I love Scott to death. He's actually he's a brilliant guy. He really is very smart. He actually uses low dollar sensors on the we actually have low dollar sensors controlling the world's fastest wheel driven vehicle ever. That is the
How cool.
Turbinator. So and believe it or not, it's actually our cheap sensor. It's like our original $7.99 sensor from years and years ago. And he's
Dude,
like,
that's
dude, this thing
awesome.
is freaking rock solid. It is the piece of information. It's the crank sensor in a modern car, right? Like
Wow.
if the crank sensor goes in our car, we don't know where the crankshaft's at. We can't fire anything. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have this fuel pressure sensor on his metering side of the fuel in this turbine, land speed car, it doesn't work. Right.
Wow.
So it's kind of a testament. It's pretty cool. It's like,
Yeah,
this is neat.
that's an important one.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did the company start? You started like what, 2017, 18, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yep.
That's awesome. So
it's hard to say. I can't really put a number on it.
Right. You're coming up on 10 years in this. What, man, like how do you continue to push boundaries? I mean, like even the pictures I showed a few minutes ago, now you've got like, travel, sensors, all kinds of stuff. Like, how do you continue to do that? Is it based on somebody comes to you, hey, I'm looking for this kind of data. Can you help me get there? You know what I mean? Like, how do you figure out what product to build next?
A lot of it is what I do on our shop cars, honestly. But we definitely take input from our customers, right? Like, you had Jay Wire here. Jay is one of the guys that like I get hundreds of messages a week of things the guys want. And I've got 5 full-time employees here, plus some contracted engineers, Anthony Jones and some other guys that do some of my design work for me, that I can't do. It's a lot to figure out what matters. And the way that I've always attacked something is this is not a business. I never started out to own a business. I don't give a rip about this business, right? I was fine before this. I'll be fine after it. It makes no difference to me. What I think is cool in life is seeing other people succeed, right? And if I can make some of these guys, this is it for them. This is life sucks, home life sucks, work sucks. They fucking live to go racing. This is it. And the last thing that they want to do is hurt something or lose because they don't have enough data, right? So if data can help you keep something alive, or make you more efficient, and the only reason why you wouldn't have it is because it's expensive, man, I feel like I can fit you, like I can help you, right? Like,
Right.
but if I can't get into, I have no interest in taking business that already exists either. Like when I started doing this, everybody's, I had no interest in taking Holly's pressure sensor business from them. Oddly enough, they use us in their training programs, right? Even their training guys are like, hey, here's who to go to, because they're normal guys too. Fuel Tech does the same. Haul Tech does the same. ECU Masters does the same. We have a lot of AIM. If you buy anything from Megasquirt, all of their sensors is our sensors, right?
How
We
cool.
private label all their sensors. Our goal was only to make it affordable. I wanted to make things so affordable that you couldn't afford not to have the data. And I believe wholeheartedly that we've affected the way that the industry has moved forward in the past couple of years, because we've been able to provide tens of thousands of customers with the data that they need, almost hundreds of thousands of customers at this point, with the data they need to grow their program. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, what new products do you have coming up that are going to be coming out?
I got some neat stuff. We haven't ever talked about it.
Can we talk about it?
I don't know. It's sitting in front of you. You guys probably can kind of see them. Let's see. There's a new device here.
Interesting. I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah, it's a module. Here's like kind of the innards of it, right? So this is
totally.
a new
Yeah, I know
module that we're working on here. This is some pretty cool technology. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. There's drawings for, I mean, I've got stuff in the works. I'm a squirrel by nature. I'm everywhere.
Bing, bing,
So
bing, bing, bing.
this is pretty neat. This is CAN bus stuff, right? So there's a need in the market for, in my opinion, for EGT data. I already have the sensors. We have extremely high quality US made thermocouple sensors, but Holly has fallen off their rocker and they are $1,000 for their module. Fuel Tech is, it's unbelievably expensive for the module. It makes it where guys can't have this data, makes it unaffordable. So I'm fixing that. So that's the big thing right now. It's a CAN based module. It's really trick. It has CAN on it and it has analog on it, which is pretty cool. One device will work with Haul Tech, Fuel Tech, Motec, every single manufacturer, and it will also play on their CAN bus. This is in development with Plimpton Innovations, a good friend of mine, Jimmy, and he's just such a freaking rock star. Kid's a brain. So yeah, some cool stuff with that, and then there's some potential for some other CAN bus or CAN based technology from Lowdoller in the near future. Sweet. It's on the horizon, let's say that. My car, we have every single input on the Holly, and Holly has more inputs than anybody. We have every single input consumed on my car. On my brother's car, we have 95% consumed, and on Mike's car, we have probably 90% consumed. We have more sensors and data inputs than you can imagine. And one of those things means that for every device, it's got to have a power, it's got to have a ground, it's got to have a signal. CAN bus is a way to clean some of that up, and that's something that we're working on right now. So,
Dude, I told you just on the phone, I love it when like nerds are car guys too. Cause man,
yeah,
there's nothing cooler. You know what I mean? Like you get the opportunity to really dive into that stuff and
yeah,
push
yeah.
that limit.
It's really cool. I'm so blessed, man, that like I'm just an idiot, right? Like people don't I can fumble my way through. I can read things and understand what's happening. I can look at data and figure it out. I am not the guy to come up with like, if you guys could see the complexity
Yeah.
in this board set, this thing is absurd. I'm not that guy, but I have people for that.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very fortunate to have some really cool people on board.
And just business wise, I think that's truly what it takes to do what you've done with that is to try
Yeah.
and not do everything. Like know what you're good at and
Yeah.
then, be able to put that team together, That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. My strong point is solving problems, right? Like I'm not smart, but at the end of the day, I'm really good at solving problems. I feel like that's what I was created to do was to solve problems. Um, and I'm pretty good at doing it. And that's all racing is, right? That's all tuning is. I'm not a tuner, but I'm pretty good at solving problems. And that's all the data is. The data shows you, it overlays in different areas, and it shows you exactly where there's issues.
Yeah, I mean, and to be able to take that and then go, be able to do what you do with it from there is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been interesting for sure.
All right. Well, I'm grabbing lowdollarmotorsports.com. Obviously, I just, publicly here, I mean, we've said it a couple times, but I just want to say thanks for, coming on
Yeah.
board, being a sponsor here. I mean, our biggest thing here when we find, when new people come on, I mean, it's for conversations like this. It's for the opportunity to really show, I mean, everybody that has watched this show knows who you are, right? We're not introducing
I don't
you
know about
probably to
that.
a ton of new people, but we are giving them a side that they're not going to see, right? That we are letting them have a little bit more story and build some rapport with you and them, and let them know. I mean, like
Yeah.
in the chat over there, that's where you go find all this stuff, and you send emails and all that kind of stuff. And dude,
Yeah. Is
it's so
there
cool.
comments going on? I haven't
Uh,
looked. Is there anything happening?
so it was just the crush stuff from
Oh
Jay
yeah.
there. Yeah,
Okay. That's it. That's all we got.
right. I know.
I'm disappointed in these people.
I know. I figured we'd have a bunch of stuff. Even the one dude talking about taking your shirt off. So we're gonna get that, or do we need to?
Rob can have it later, but I can't show it to everybody. I'm sorry.
That's funny. Well, look, we
Yeah.
won't keep you long. Dude, where are we going to see you next? What's your next event?
So this weekend I will be at Cincy Street Nights. So Brad Arnold's got he's got a 427 or 434 in his car right now. One of our combos, one of my old engines, and Jarvis, God, I love it. But if I looked like you, I would. US 60. That's on the list. That's on the list. Hey, if you guys don't follow this guy, Midwest Speed Kings, you're missing the boat.
Dude, hang on.
Anybody
'cause
listening?
I want to give that guy a big shout out. In
Look
the
at that picture.
photo, dude, incredible. Incredible.
Dude,
stuff.
he's so freaking talented.
Yeah.
There's a story behind this whole deal too. We were down at US 60 driving. We went to get ice cream and some margaritas and some tacos, and we were on the way back. And Jeremy and his wife were following us, and I passed this barn driving down the road down in Kentucky, and I go through this guy's field, back up, and I'm like, I want a picture against that barn. And Jeremy and his wife shot pictures, and it was so rad. Turned out so cool. So thank you, Jeremy.
That's awesome. I don't know what Jay is working on here. He said, but what options are out there for IAT north of 350 degrees for pre-intercooler temps or methanol non-intercooler customers? Dude, who's got an intake air temp at 350 degrees?
Well, all of us.
God.
I mean, I was so Jay, what I would recommend is we make a thermocouple that's like an extremely thin tip. He's also asking because he's been wearing me out about making a different sensor for this. We've got our turbo intake air temp that kind of tops out. Really it's kind of thermocouple from me. There's other great solutions out there. I don't offer a solution for it. I know Motion or Rife has an intake air temp. I've got it on my car. We've tested against it. Our data is better on our K-type thermocouple, to be honest with you. It's more accurate. It's faster responding. But it does require you to run a single channel thermocouple conditioner. Hence the reason we are working on this. This is going to be part of that. We're going to make that super affordable. So it's kind of where we're at, Jay. What else you got, bud? You want to talk about, Jay was messaging me the other day about ground speed. He wants to do some LiDAR stuff on a sand dragster to get speeds.
Yes.
So we like doing radar under the car, which is a pretty interesting concept. So that'll be a cool one to. There's actually some like tractor stuff for applying stuff in fields that uses like a LiDAR sensor essentially that's scanning the surface to get true speeds, which is difficult to do on the vehicle that he's running. So
yeah, because it's so fast. I like what sub 3 seconds to 300 feet or something like that. I mean, with panel tires. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In gravel, and it hangs the front tires in the air, right? So like we don't have front wheel speed that we can go off of. We have rear wheel speed, but it has a
246 to 300. God.
There you go, Jay. 246 to 300.
Yeah.
Ripping. That is ripping, buddy.
In the sand. Yeah. So you can't use rear speed either because it's a constant, not like a tire spin on a car, but like a dig. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The wheelie bar on that car is really unique. It's got like a pneumatically actuated wheelie bar to set the tire dig, essentially, I guess is what we would call it. The depth of which the tires can scoop. Kind of cool. So there's a lot of stuff. We've got parts on, we do a ton of stuff in the industrial world. We do a ton of stuff in the drift world. We do a ton of stuff in Australia. These big blower cars, and we do a bunch in rally racing, and we do a ton in, I mean, we have parts everywhere, every single corner of the world. We ship to every week, literally. So
how cool. Yeah, shout out to your shipping team, because I lived a logistics life for a while, and I know what that's like to try international shipments and all that, and no way.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, we've got a really solid team here. We ship out a lot of orders. We hold a ton of inventory. We hold 20s of thousands of pressure transducers. Like we just large quantities. And
that's awesome.
We've got sensors on everything. It's wild. The amount of parts that we have out there. We're just truly blessed, man. It's really cool. Yeah. It's been a really awesome ride so far. And I can't wait to continue to give people more information. So
bring it on. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for staying late. We appreciate it. I'm sure it's probably an early night for you in the business. We appreciate you doing this for us, man.
Yeah, no problem. Who do you guys have on next?
We got Evan Uerkwitz and Nick Rinehart. So this will be a good one. 6-second Nova as well. Just an earlier version of yours. So cool. Yeah, it's going to be kind of fun.
Those guys are awesome, man. All right, buddy.
Dude, they're incredible. Thank you very much, Brandon. We'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
See you. Bro, do you feel smarter? I feel smarter.
I feel like I need more sensors on my car. That's what I feel like.
Oh, I mean, listen, we don't even know what your car's doing. Like it's gonna be. I have one gauge on the old truck, and it's the boost gauge. Like that's the only data that I'm getting from it. So he would look in there and be like, "Dude, how do you even drive this thing?" I'd be like, "I don't know. I just listen. If the back tires are spinning, we're having fun. That's all I need to know.
There you go.
If it gets hot, it'll blow coolant. You'll be fine." All right. Well, dude, let's do the middle of the stuff again. Thanks to Molly for being awesome. Not just sponsors of the show, not just early sponsors of the show as well, but also Drag and Drive Racers, Eric Grillo, George Wright. Awesome dudes out there. You can generally catch them on like Drag Week, or George does Drag Week typically, and then Eric will do Rocky Mountain Race Week, and I'm sure he will be there in the Nova this year 1.0, going back to the mountains. I can't wait to be a part of Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0. It's gonna be cool. All right, sir, lead us in, man.
All right. Well, appreciate all of our race car friends in here making comments and tuning in on this Wednesday night. We're halfway through the show, so don't go anywhere yet. We've got a bunch more, but look forward to seeing all of our race car friends here in 8 days at the circuit. And of course, our sponsors, again, can't do this without these guys, can't travel to these events or do any of the stuff that we do if it wasn't for this list of great companies: Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solution, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Lowdoller Motorsports, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk. And Deechworks is the leading manufacturer of high-performance fuel system components. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, fuel pumps, rails, regulators, filters, lines, fittings, plus pump modules and surge tanks, all engineered to support power levels ranging from 400 to 4,000 and above horsepower. With focus on engineering excellence and industry-leading customer support, Deechworks continues to drive the future of high-performance fueling. And another discount code here, DDR10, gets you 10% off Deechworks.com. And I don't know if you saw it, I sent it to you just a little bit before the show, but they got another position open at Deechworks for like some product development, which sounds really cool.
Yeah, product development engineer or something. I was like, yeah. Generally, drag and drive guys would be great for that.
Right.
We're all engineers when we're on the roadside, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, this segment is going to bring in Mr. Evan and Nick Rinehart. This is going to be kind of fun. This is the first time for either of these dudes to be on the show, so it's going to be kind of cool. It looks like, are you guys at Nick's house?
We are. We're all in the shop.
Nice. Yep. All right. Well, I'm excited you guys have been backstage. You've been listening to the show. We appreciate your patience on that stuff. And I'm excited to have this conversation. One, because we get to basically slow down enough to actually talk, in here. I don't think in the several events that I've been to with Evan, I've said more than about 30 seconds worth of stuff with him. And we're going to talk for an hour. So it's always kind of cool to be able to do this.
Absolutely. It's hard at the racetrack. We're just all so busy and just trying to keep our head on straight,
Well, and you start thinking, man, we're together for a week typically. Like the events we've done together, they're a week long, but still, like, it's a run by in the morning, make sure you guys are okay, watch your pass go by. I may catch your co-pilot in the lanes walking away, and then that's it. That's all the conversation we have for the day. And then, as we go on and on from there, it's pretty wild. So I'm glad you guys are doing this. Thank you. Kanan Hall did say to me the other day that Evan loves to be on camera. And I will agree with this, because I was going through trying to find a picture for the thumbnail. Had to go to side profile. That was the only photo. And Evan even sent that to me. I was going to use it, but I was like, man, surely he's got something. Nope, that's okay.
Yeah, that was actually from Street Meet a couple of years ago with Nick. And I actually had to edit our buddy Justin Arnold from HCR Innovations out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. We've really chewed some of the same dirt. I appreciate you guys doing this. So let's find out what which one is which, and then what you guys daily drive.
Go ahead.
Which one is which? Well, I'm Nick Rinehart. Obviously own the Chevy 2 in the background, and been running a few events with it here, and we're going to continue on and try to continue our success, I guess, that we've had so far for the most part.
My name is Evan Uerkwitz. Been competing in drag and drive stuff for about 3 years now. Got a 79 Malibu that I've ran in Pro Street, both on a slick tire, now on a radial, and basically just trying to, have fun with that when I can.
Yeah, that car has the perfect stance.
Well, there's only one stance for a race car, and that's in the weeds. So
yeah, agreed. And that one is it for sure. I think I remember you used to, like, for your drive tires, they're a big knobby tire, right?
yeah, it's a 33 12.5 mud terrain truck tire.
Yeah, dude, it looks so badass on that tire.
And they do great burnouts too.
Yeah. See, we need a burnout master tire that does burnouts and smokes like a mud tire, but has the tread life of like 900 tread wear. just built for drag and drive guys.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's let this first segment. I want to learn about you guys. Like, what's the first car for you guys? Did y'all always have cool cars?
Well, my first, I guess, race car, if you want to call it that, or street car race car, was a 74 Nova that I had bought from a buddy of mine from high school, Joel Johnson. And I'm still really good friends with him. He's actually painted the Chevy too, and did all the sheet metal work and did all the paint work on it. So, we still are together, as friends,
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I started with that. I started bracket racing, and that car, my first couple passes down the strip were 1550s. So, I didn't start with like this, So I just progressively, by the end of the first year, we were going 1280s, and I was a senior in high school. I had a car that went 12s in high school, which, I guess I'll date myself, which was back in 91.
Dude, you were fast.
Was pretty fast back then. It's not fast now, but then it was fast. So
yeah, it's a heck of a lot of fun now, though. I tell you, it's what we talk about all the time. 12-second cars, man. They sound good and they do good burnouts.
Yep.
And you don't have to work on them that much, hopefully.
Yeah.
For myself, kind of same deal. Started off with a small block S10, the 305 in it, got my license revoked, learned how to cut, weld, fit, all that stuff on it. And then kind of progressed into other things. Spent a lot of my time working for a couple of gentlemen that allowed me to progress in both fabrication and my talents there, tuning, building engines, so on and so forth. And then I decided to put the Malibu together as basically my 30th birthday present for myself, and it took a lot longer than originally anticipated. And
that 3 months is the best 6 months you'll ever spend on a 5-year project.
Yeah, and then it turned into 5 years. So unfortunately, everybody else's stuff always came first, and you got to do what you got to do and work on it and make some money and spend some money, and it's been a great time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys obviously have cool race cars. What about daily drivers? What do you guys drive for that?
Well, that really depends on what time of the year it is. We live up in Wisconsin, so in the wintertime, I drive a 3/4 ton pickup truck with a plow on it, and in the summer, I drive either my Camaro, my Audi. I have a 55 Chevy. So I have a handful of cars. So it depends on the weather and depends on what I'm feeling that day.
Nice.
For myself, I keep it pretty simple. Just got a 2012 Malibu. It gets decent fuel mileage. And then for doing work stuff, hauling engines, picking up stuff, 85 square body, standard cab, long bed, 292 straight six with a stick in it.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was really nice when I first bought it, and I drove it a couple times in winter here, and the rocker panels basically fell off of it. But it starts.
A lot of people live up there. Why do y'all live up there?
I don't know.
Man,
Less population.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, fair enough. So how?
It's really nice in the summer up here, just not so much in the winter sometimes.
Yeah, right. I could probably do that. I could do summer only up there when it's 107 and 107% humidity here. You guys are like loving life. How far are you guys from Eric in Rockford, Illinois?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where are you guys at in Wisconsin?
Oshkosh.
And I'm from Neenah, about 30 minutes south of Green Bay.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Cool.
No.
Yeah, you guys, Eric needs to get the Mustang going and cruise it around and see all the other drag and drive racers up there. Yeah, right. So you talked about some of the cars. I want to run through these pretty quick because, damn, son, that's nice. That's a nice car, man. Wow. And I mean, obviously, I like your style here. This is pretty awesome. What's this setup? What's this car here?
So that's a 67 Camaro twin turbo LS. That car has had a bunch of different engine platforms in it over the years. And, I had big block Chevy in it with a Tremec T56 Magnum in it. And then I took that out and did just really wanted to learn about the LS platform and, get my hands starting to learn about fuel injection and tuning. And it was really just a learning test bed, for me to just educate myself on. So I wanted to do that just to kind of get my feet wet with fuel injection for the Chevy too. But, thankfully Evan came along and he handles all the keyboard work. So I can just focus on the other stuff, the dumb work, he gets to do the smart work. I do the dumb work.
Even better. How long have you had this car?
Originally when I bought that car, it had a big block in it and a turbo 400, and it was white and black. And then when I was 40, I totally restored the car, took it all apart and redid the whole car. I've had that car probably 15, 16 years now.
Wow.
It's mini tubbed, the leaf springs are moved in. It's got a 9-inch Ford in it. It's got nice stuff in it. I take my daughter to school in that thing. I've taken her to school in that car since she was in kindergarten. So,
oh wow,
I don't take it to the track because there's no cage in the car, and the car would probably, even on 16 pounds at E85, that car would probably run 8s. So,
that's awesome.
So I got to be careful with that car, Yeah. So,
and then what about this dude right here? God.
Oh. So that was a car I bought in a basket from a coworker, and he had brought the car to Wisconsin from Nevada. So he used to work at Urson Cams, and he got hired at our sister company, Howard's Cams. And so he brought the car. I'm sorry?
I said, shout out to Luke B.
Yep. So I knew he had the car for years, but they had taken the car apart to paint it, and it just sat in his garage for 20 years. And he ended up was going to retire and knew he wasn't going to get the car put together, and asked if I wanted to buy the car. And so I went and looked at it. Where do you find a car like that that's from the West Coast that car is absolutely pristine.
Beautiful.
There is zero rust on that car. It is perfect. So ended up buying that car in a basket and spent 2 years putting that together. And my buddy Joel that painted the Chevy too, he painted that car also.
Wow. So that's awesome.
So that car's got a 555 in it.
Oh.
NA 555. The car's run 910 already on motor.
Holy shit. Wow.
So it's pretty sporty for what it is. It doesn't look like it, which it has the look of just a muscle car, but it gets down.
Talk about a car that would surprise the hell out of anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. I'm sure as it sits in the parking lot idling, people know what's up. But like, man, the bust off like a 9-second best. Like, holy shit, hold on. Yeah, that's cool. And then 55, 6.
Yeah, 55. So that was my uncle's car, and cool. He ended up giving it to me. And so that car, I used to ride around in that car when I was little.
Oh, wow.
And so that car's, the car's not perfect, but it's a nice, solid car. And, that car has sentimental value to me because I used to ride around that car when I was 5-6 years old, so,
cool.
So that car sat for years. It sat for like 25 years. And I asked him like 6 years ago, I said, hey, what are you doing with that thing? And he says it was just sitting at his dad's farm, had 2 inches of dust on it. The thing hadn't been run in 20 years. And I know why he parked it, because it needed a lot of stuff, So I thought, well, I'll spend 6 weeks on this thing. Well, that turned into 6 months of just making it safe to drive on the road, So, but I get that car out once in a while and drive that. It's a fun little cruiser. It's stock. It's got a 265 in it. It's just a nice little driver car,
Right. Power glide in that thing, probably?
No, it's actually got a Muncie in it. That's the only thing that's not stock.
Holy shit, that's cool.
So it's fun. It's a fun little, It's not fast, but it's just a fun little cruiser,
Well, speaking of fast race cars, what's with this thing, dude?
Yeah, that's my daughter's junior. So not only do we do the drag and drive and street cars, hot rods, but I'm heavily involved with the junior crowd, I guess, if you want to call it that. So
is that a 750 dial on the wing there?
8th mile. Yeah, it'll be 8th mile. So
yeah, but wow. So the Midwest drag race series pro mods and all, they have juniors, and they're limited to 790. So we've run some Outlaw 330 stuff in the past. Those cars get down. It's hard to explain to people in the stands, like, that really is fast. That's a very fast car.
So basically the rules for the juniors are, if you are under 16, you only can go 790. You're capped at 790. But if you have your driver's license in IHRA, then you can run 750. Well, she got her driver's license last year, and we went to the track. I put the wing on the car. I pulled some weight out of the car, and on the third hit, she went 755 with it. So yeah, I mean, that's a different challenge all on its own, than a big car. So
yeah, I
but
can't imagine.
I really enjoy that. I enjoy running the junior with her, and she gets to drive and kind of be the star, and it's pretty cool. So
yeah, it's really fun working with a lot of those young racers. I hate to say kids, because they're not kids, they're young racers. It's pretty awesome to have seen them grown up the last few years, and we have some that are graduating out of juniors and into big cars now and moving into top sportsmen and stuff. It's pretty cool. And I mean, definitely if people could understand how fast those cars are, but we schedule it to where they run, like, we run juniors and then follow them with pro mods, and it's like the two ends of the spectrum, but it's the best way to get the most attention to the juniors, because the whole time we're running them, we're telling people pro mods are coming, so they're getting in the stands. So, anyways.
I mean, it's good for the kids. I mean, those are our future racers, no matter what it is, if it's bracket racing or drag and drive or whatever. I mean, that's our future, so.
Well, and it teaches track etiquette. It teaches cutting a light. I mean, a 6-year-old can't drive a big car. Like, we have junior street now, 13 to 16-year-olds, and that's kind of creeping into some of the drag and drives. But, a 6-year-old's not driving a car to go out there and do that. So this is their way to get in and be able to understand the lights and how to race and who to race and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Outside responsibility also, because the race car work a lot of times doesn't stop once you leave the track. There's things to do during the week, maintenance, upkeep, cleaning, things of that nature. And, like Nick said, the next generation of racers, obviously without them, it's not going to be a good thing.
Yeah, right. We need them excited and spending money within the community to keep track.
We need parents like us to help promote them and give them a vehicle to kind of push them into that, keep them out of trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to run through the pictures of the Nova and go over a little bit of that history, and then that will lead us into our next segment of talking about Sick Week. So, you sent over some photos. I mean, this one here, I feel like is pretty good opener shot, and then that shows something completely different. So, kind of give us a timeline between these two shots.
A timeline between them? Ooh, that's a long time. So this first shot here, this was at the chassis was built at my buddy's shop, Pentagon Race Fab, out in Syracuse, New York. So Jake and I and Jamie have been friends from back in the early 2000s. We met in the NMCA days, and we just stayed, really, really good friends through the years. And, I told Jake, I said, hey, I'm kind of thinking about building another car, because after 2007, I took like 10 or 12 years off from racing. And I said, if I build another car, I want to build a Chevy too. I mean, that's always been my body style that I've wanted to build. And actually, it's funny, Eric, that you're from Rockford, but I told my brother that, and 2 weeks later, I told him, I says, if I build another car, it's going to be a 66 or 67 Nova. And 2 weeks later, he sends me a link to one in Rockford off of Craigslist or something like that. I think it was, and he sent me a couple pictures of it. It was $2,500, and the car should have went to the dumpster. That thing was the biggest pile of shit. I mean, it was bad. So, I mean, realistically, the only thing left of the original car is the roof skin and the doors. And that's really about it, because the inner rockers were gone. The outer rockers were gone. The floor was destroyed in it. I basically bought a shell, and I bought
a title.
A title, basically, is what I bought.
And a bin tag.
Yeah, you can see here like all of that cut out.
So that's at my buddy Joel's shop. So I dropped the car off, and we knew the car needed quarters, and it needed rockers, it needed everything. So he sends me that picture like 2 days later, and I about fell over. I'm like, oh my God, dude. So yeah, I mean, between the first, it probably took me honestly about 12 years to build this car.
Wow.
So it wasn't like it was done in 6 months, like these guys that pound these cars out in 6 months. It's just, and I built a few other cars in between that one too. So I'd work on that one in the winter for a while, and then I would push it off this side, and then I'd work on other stuff, or, we built a few other different, less exotic cars in between. So
some more fun stuff. Looks like some easy body work here, and then the finished product. Man, bro, what a garage, man. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. But, a lot of that stuff, other than the main chassis structure that we built out at Jake's at Pentagon, once everything, all the main things got done that we needed the jig for, we brought the car home, and I finished everything basically right here.
That's
I think
awesome.
I sent you some shots of the firewall and stuff that I had kind of mocked up, and actually Evan made all the sheet metal for the firewall and the floor pan and stuff. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and you did. I just didn't put them in there. I figured that was the most. That was like the most dramatic shots there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a long process to build the car, but I think it turned out good for a bunch of cowboys kind of just doing it in their garage. And honestly, everything in that whole car, between me, Jake, Evan, Joel, that painted it, and the only other person that had their hands on that car was Devin Vanderhoof at HCR. He wired it. So other than that, we did the whole car right here. So
that's awesome. What's the powertrain or drivetrain combo in it now?
So it's a 540 twin turbo deal, turbo 400, Mark Williams modular, 9.5 inch, gangster rear end in it. I call it the dump truck rear end.
It weighs about as much as one.
Yeah, we changed that rear end, and it added 50 pounds to the car, which the car was heavy already as it is. So, but Mike Pryka and Doug Cook love it when I call it the dump truck rear end. So
yeah, I'm sure that's pretty cool. Okay, so that kind of takes us into some of the history of the car. I want to talk about this Sick Week thing, but we got to do an ad read real quick. So big shout out to Deechworks, who, of course, sponsoring our racer party at the circuit coming up. Also racing 2 cars. Mark Campbell's bringing his 85002 capable car to take on Brian Acton and Jay Blanchard alongside TJ Linebaugh. It's going to be a fun race to watch in our Street Race Power Adder class. And of course, David Deach bringing the Volvo Amazon down with a 4G63 and a stick shift and 8.8 and all that kind of stuff. Eric, you want to read the Performer Built, and then we'll jump into some Sick Week updates.
All right. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, their goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa-built.
For sure. And if they can put a 4L60 in Howie Price's 5,100 pound wagon here, and it can run in the 10s, they can figure out something for your car. I guarantee it. So let's talk Sick Week. I'll run through kind of the recap real quick. So obviously set a new record. This is pretty awesome. We, in these very fast cars, these very front running classes like Pro Street, we've seen this thing just get continually chopped. But you guys actually 681 with a 4 average for the week. Incredible down there. And then that actually took the old record down 4.5 tenths. So huge move, almost a half second. He knocked off the old record of Glenn Hunter from 2024 with a 727. So huge swing on that one. And then, of course, Glenn came in second place behind you in this year's event with his first 6-second average at Sick Week as well with a 696 with an 8. So pretty awesome for Glenn to get that as well. And then a new record for the single quickest pass in that class for Sick Week as well with a 676. Taking down Clark Rosenstengel's 2023 709 pass. So pretty awesome time that you guys had down there, and in the 6s all week, dude. It's badass.
Again,
yeah.
Second year in a row.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome, man. So day 1, 683, 207. Day 2, 680 with a 2 at 208. Day 4, mile an hour looks down a little bit, but still 685 at 190, almost 3.
Yeah,
and then
I had to chop that one early.
Gotcha. Where were we at day 4? We were
Orlando.
That was Orlando.
Yeah.
Yep. And then day 5, 676, quickest pass of the weekend, obviously a new record at 209.7, bro. It's getting after it.
It's getting there. Yeah. We still got a lot to go yet. We're not even close to maxed out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
Evan's my voice of reason when I want to throw the bacon at this thing, and he's like, "No, you need to calm yourself down.
Get in the driver's seat, let go of the button like a good driver."
Well, talk to us about that a little bit, because at that point, Glenn obviously has been in the 6s in the past. Hasn't quite ran where you guys were that time. So did you know on day 1 or 2 you just kind of needed to be in the 680s to take this thing?
Well, not really, because what happened, Sheldon Root was actually ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He ran 650 or 650 with a 1 or something on day 1.
220 miles an hour.
And then day 2 at SGMP, he ran a 660 something, but he ended up hanging the rods out of the motor. And I guess kind of, we started out like, okay, what's our game plan? We're in the hunt here. We're not leading, but
kill them with consistency.
Yeah, let's just kind of run our course, run our race, and let's just see.
You gotta finish to win.
Yeah, well, that's what we say. It's like we gotta be there at the end to have a chance, So
yeah, we had Sheldon and Isaiah on back. It was just right after Sick Week in our Canadian Invasion episode, and dude, they were kind of talking about that. Like, it was heartbreaking to go that far and then end up with something. I think it ended up being a pretty simple mistake, but dude, that's what happens on drag and drives, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sometimes it is the simple stuff. Sometimes it bites you, but these cars kind of at this level they're temperamental sometimes, and to put it nicely,
basically driving a grenade down the highway with the pin falling out of it is what it comes down to.
That's a perfect example.
Because anything can fall off, blow up, break, and you just got to be ready to fix it.
Yeah. Rain. It can be really a multitude of things that we're never ever ready for. You can only drive something so much. Yeah, that's awesome. And the weather, man. How did the weather affect the tuning inside and prep side of stuff? I guess not like track prep, but like your tires and air pressures and things like that.
I don't know exactly what it is about this car, but it makes my job very easy. You could put it in a car wash and it's probably going to go 116 or 117, 60 foot. I don't know if it's the shock package. Jake from Pentagon set us up with some custom AFCOs on the front, along with a 4-way adjustable on the rear. And between everything, gear ratios, 315 radial, I mean, to be able to take a 3,600 pound car and go, 115, 116, 60 foot every single day, it's impressive. And the technology just makes it that much easier to be able to do stuff like that. And obviously, we've never ran the car in as cold of conditions as we had at Gainesville, testing Friday and Saturday. And the track was very spotty, but when it comes down to it, we didn't have any reason to doubt the car. And, we just kind of went up there and did our thing, and it obviously worked well to our favor.
Mm-hmm. So when you're, the thought of this car working so well, that's planning, right? Okay.
Preparation. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, what I'm referring to is like when you're in the early stages, when this car, like in that last segment, when that car had no rear fenders on it, that had to be a thought. That had to be, this is kind of what I want to do with this car. Like what we see so much is a car was a 10-second car, then it's upgrades to an 8, then it upgrades to a 7, and now we're like at this front end of like a low 7, high 6-second car that originally was an 8-second or a 10-second car that's just been upgraded to get there. Like, was this car built with that intention in the beginning?
So when I started this car, I did class racing before the drag and drive thing, and when I started this car, I built it for drag and drive. Even before drag and drive was as popular as it is now. That wasn't even the reason why I built the car. I just did it because I wanted to try something different other than just have a race car. So I was like, man, I want to see if we can do this drag and drive thing where we can actually drive a car. So the goal with the car always has been like, everybody's goal is like, hey, I want to go 6s. I mean, because not many people get to do that. I mean, it takes a lot of stuff to do that. So the goal always with the car was to run in the 6s. And so, we built that car for that intent, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. And, you said earlier, this car took like 10 years to build. Like, think of
it wasn't overnight.
I mean, it's at home. Yeah.
It took me a long time to build. I mean, a car like this, even if you build it yourself and you do all the labor, it's still a mountain of money to build a car like this. So
well, and thought process, like you never gave up on that. It was like, well, hey, look, 850s is fine. Let's just put we don't have to go that big on turbos. We don't have to go that big on, the engine cubic. We can just get me going, get me running. Like you never did that. You kept true to the plan.
It's funny that you kind of mentioned that. Is at one point in time, this was probably like 2014 when we really started talking a lot. Nick was actually discussing putting his nitrous motor in the car and then, running that way. And I kind of poked and prodded on him for a little bit. I said, hey man, you know, the turbos are the way of the future. And I said, just, you know, even if it takes a little bit more time, get it done now. And, you know, we basically, you know, haven't stopped since, and it's been an enjoyable time.
Well, and the thing is, like a big cubic inch nitrous motor is expensive as shit, and it's always expensive. There's never not something that needs to be done. So, you know, turbos to the front, baby. That's
so when we started this thing, so when we first got the car finished and we started testing with the car, I used my old nitrous engine. That was my class engine, and we converted it into a turbo combination.
Wow.
So we ran that first event, Street and Heat, in 24 with my 525. So it was a class specific cubic inch motor, and that thing ran good for what it was. I mean, we went 460s or 450s of that thing.
462, 710 on like 22 pounds of boost.
Yeah, on 22 pounds of boost. So, yeah. So we weren't even leaning on that thing, and it ran hard
with VS Racing 88 millimeter turbos.
Come on, that's awesome.
Yeah,
they're still on the car yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. VS to the front too, man. I'm telling you, I love that guy.
So how did Evan end up being your co-pilot?
Well, he's just, I guess, number one, you need somebody that's going to be your co-pilot in a car like this. A car at this level, you need somebody that's equal to you or better as far as capabilities and, you know, abilities to do everything you can do. So Evan can do everything that I can do and more. So he's me on steroids, which is, you need a guy like that that's going to be your co-pilot in a car like this. You know, I mean, you know, it's hard to have somebody, you know, with you that can't do all the things that, I mean, it comes down to even the simple things, you know, like the GPS and reading me directions, and, you know, he'll get his satellite out on his phone, and, you know, because the steering radius on this car is absolutely terrible. And then you put a trailer on the back of it, you know, it's like you get yourself pinched into some parking lots sometimes and you can't get out. So he'll get that satellite view up and just start looking at it and say, yeah, you can go around the back, or, you know, whatever. I mean, it's all the little details that make the big difference in the end is really what it is. So Andy lives 20 minutes from me. So you know, if we need to work on the car or we need to measure some stuff, then he comes down and we work on the car, and you know, he's always available. You know, I mean, not many guys you can find, you know, it's a diamond in the rough, you know, really, when you can come across somebody like that and just have all the abilities that he has to do everything. Like, you know, we both can build engines, you know, we both can do third members. We both, you know, we're starting to play with transmissions now because we need to learn that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're getting into that. And we've done the last couple of them in the car, freshen ups and stuff. So, you know, can I tune? I can. I'd rather him do it, because then I can just think about other things and worry about driving and the things that, you know, it's hard to do everything and have your mind in everything, you know, in a car at this level. So,
man, that's crazy.
Makes sense. So talking about sick week, obviously you guys had a good week. What did you guys do right? And did you guys do any upgrades prior to sick week?
This car is a constant upgrade. It never ends. It's an evolution that never stops. So, what did we do right this year? We did everything right this year.
My number one goal this year was to not have to use any right stuff. That if I told him when we left, I said, I want to finish, I want to do good, but if we don't have to use any right stuff silicone this week, I'll be happy.
And not have to pull the intake off.
Yeah. We had a couple little nagging issues with the engine program, which, you know, you're bound to have that when you're learning and doing your own deal, you know, not paying somebody else to take care of this stuff. And, you know, every drag and drive that we had done up until this point, you know, we'd either had a push rod tip issue, We had pulled the oil pan on it once to seal up a leak and things like that. And, number one goal is we thought we had things covered for this year. And we did, basic maintenance, valve lash every morning, check spring loads, changed oil once through the middle of the week. I did pull the tranny pan on it at Bradenton. We actually had a torn O-ring on the inside of the trans pump, and it was kind of applying the lockup in the car, even though we don't use it yet. So it was dragging the lockup a little bit here and there, and it was actually slowing the car down some in low gear, even running that 676 pass at almost 210. So,
Wow.
Other than that, it was a great week. We basically just drove the car.
Well, and we actually drove it at speed too. We actually were cruising
well,
at 70 miles an hour
yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
up till this event, we were kind of being
Walking on eggshells.
Yeah, we were afraid of the valve train and stuff, and we would only drive the car 50, 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So
we played around. I don't remember what night it was. And I said, hey, I want to turn the lockup on while we're driving. And he's like, okay, do whatever. So I've got the laptop in the passenger seat. And I said, all right, you ready? And he goes over the radio and he says, we're in the middle of a construction zone. I said, I don't care. It'll be quick. And, just started playing with it a little bit and, going from 55 miles an hour up to 70. And before you know it, like we're passing regular common folk on the highway.
Yes.
3,600 pound Chevy 2 with two dudes and a 2,500 pound trailer going 72 miles an hour. We're passing D-class cars going 60 and we're just blowing by them,
Yes.
So our comfort level started to get better. We changed a few things in the engine program this winter and made things a little bit more reliable and, changed up, the things that we did and got some more oiling up to the top and it paid off because we literally, we were at drag week in September and we got up to Baltimore and we're driving along and we thought we had the problem fixed. Next thing you know, the thing's hammering and it knocked the push rod out of it again. So now we're on the side of the road fixing this thing when it's 85 degrees outside on the side of the road. And where were we, like 5 miles from the first checkpoint? Yeah. We didn't even make it to the first checkpoint yet, So then we pulled the intake off. I think you guys filmed us or something at that first checkpoint.
Yeah.
We had the intake off again and we were fixing, modifying things.
Like what Brandon said, all race cars are problems, and you just have to figure out what the problem is and don't do it again. And it took us a little bit longer than originally anticipated, but the car came back from Florida and it basically got disassembled nose to tail, and everything looked great. Valve train was beautiful, pistons were great, transmission, so on and so forth, and that's the biggest thing with all this stuff is just figuring out what causes you heartache, headaches, problems, grief, and fixing it. The people that show up to these events with lackluster preparation, and then they have problems. It's not really that surprising, Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that's what we talk about all the time. Having the same car for a while to get all that stuff sorted out is one of the biggest cheat codes. These guys that thrash to end up building a brand new car or we've changed everything on the car. And, it started for the first time last night. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. And they've gotten 10 hours of sleep in 10 days, those
that
guys
was
have
us last year. Or the year before, 25,
Or those are the people that show up and have a tranny line blow off because they hose clamped it onto their tranny cooler the first day at SGMP and, ruin an entire day of racing for 350 other people, unfortunately.
That's a tough one. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the hardest things that we do in drag and drive because a lot of times we are trying to make that last upgrade or that last change or that last deal right as you go in, that last thrash ends up no sleep. You drive down on no sleep. You have no sleep the night before because you're having parking lot beers, and then it's go time, and now you're trying to
just
sort
constantly
your car out.
Yeah, you're just constantly behind all the time. You just can't, like sick week in 25, we went down there with this new engine program, and the thing we got behind on day one.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody was behind on day one because of the weather down there. And, we had rocker problems. We had the intake off in a hotel parking lot at 1 o'clock in the morning. We didn't even make Leadfoot City till 3:30 in the morning. And I think we were there with Stefan Gustafson with his.
Yeah, it was about 4 a.m.
He had his intake ratchet strapped down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Or they were trying to pull the connector tight or something. I can't remember.
Throttle body. They're trying to hold the throttle body under the
throttle body.
intake or something. Yeah.
Yeah. That car is incredible. Well, Sick Week 2026. Any one and dones during the week?
Every day except Orlando.
Yeah.
Wow, holy shit, that's crazy.
Well, in the year before, even it was one and done every day. So,
wow.
But,
really, the only problem is, like I said, we were battling this converter issue. The car was 60 footing, a couple hundredths slower than normal. And it was very consistent, 117, 118, right in that neighborhood. And we had came into Orlando, and I'd been moving the dump around, trying to figure out what the problem was. And the air was great, at Orlando, and their prep is always phenomenal. And he let go of the button. And previous to this, we'd been, I think 113.8, 60 foot was the best the car had ever ran. And I made a couple of keystrokes, and it responded, and it went 111 on the back tires, and then drove up, tried to climb the ring gear, and he pedaled it a couple times and had the front end, a couple feet in the air. So we had came back, and he said, "Hey, like, I don't want to do that again." And I'm just like, just shut up and I'll do my job, So, we tightened.
We got to calm this thing down a little bit, man. This thing, I can't hold on to it.
Yeah. He's like, but 111, bro, 111.
Well, I was super stoked about the 111, but then after that, like 150 feet out, the car just decided to go to the moon.
Well, and partially that was my fault too. We've got a Davis VPS on the car, so it's got a pitch retard function, and it had been like a year since we've really had issues with it climbing the ring gear. So as we have started extending the rear suspension more, that basically drives your pitch more negative, and my retard values were the same as kind of what they'd been. And, effectively it didn't start taking out timing until it was too late, and he didn't feel comfortable. So, the next pass, which is what you'd noticed, I think we went 195, like 685, and he still had a little bit of a blip of the throttle because it had the front end pretty light and it wasn't pointing in the right direction.
I think I pedaled it twice on that pass, and then I dumped at 1,000 foot because as the car starts making more power, the car is wanting to drive to the left. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to steer this thing back off of the wall because I was in the left lane, and I was about 4 feet off the wall going 200 miles an hour. And I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm out. So I pulled the chutes and just coasted through the end, and it, still went 195, but it still went 685. Mm-hmm. So it had enough down low where it kind of carried it through the top.
Oh yeah.
So if we could get this 111 together with the 676, we would have went 660 something.
Yeah.
On the last day there.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, that's incredible.
On fairly low boost compared to everybody else.
Less than 30 pounds. This is where we're on the car right now.
That's great. And it's twin 88s?
Yeah, 88 103 VS, T6 cast iron housing, journal bearing turbos. Just whatever, like $1,300 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, $1,500. I don't know, something. they're not expensive turbos.
No.
Come on, Verlin.
That was just
some turbos.
Well, and the thing is like Nick's background, my background, turbos make a really average engine into a good engine. and they take a really great engine and they make it outstanding. And the, main meat and potatoes of the 540 that's in this car, between cylinder head, a 395 headhunter, Brodix, big 2400 intake valve. It's got a lot of camshaft in it. I don't know if it's okay to talk about that.
We'll say it's over 800 lift.
Yeah.
It's way over that.
It's closer to the number above it. And all of those things add up to not having to run a ton of boost, because this thing, makes a ton of snot on the motor itself. And that just makes everything else, much more efficient from a tuning standpoint.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, big lift and turbos. Come on. It helps so much. Okay, well, let's run through. I think I have just a couple pictures here from Sick Week. This shot, when I originally looked at this, it looked like there was no suspension on the front of this, but there is. So Pro-Jacks, you guys use Pro-Jacks around. That's pretty awesome. We've seen that a lot with a lot.
We used a 4 jack and jack stands on one event, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing that no more. This is too much work, because I mean, it's a lot of effort to switch a car like this around from street mode to race mode. I mean, it takes me and him an hour and a half to do it.
Yeah.
So
do you change rear shocks or just the settings?
Just springs. So
just springs.
The nice thing about the way that the AFCO Terminator, or excuse me, the Dominator shock is done, is it's got like a quick release spring collar on it. So we run a triple stack spring. So we've got a main spring, a tender spring, and then basically a helper. And I can roll underneath the car and literally just pull the spring up, unclip it, and, swap coils in probably, if I was hustling, a matter of probably 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, we were able to put a lot of spring grade in it to drive the car on the street with the trailer. And then, when we go to race it, we can change it. And I think it's about a 85 or 88 pound combination. And then that gets our ride height, better, gets the shock more compressed. That way we can extend the rear end going down track.
That's all. And if you guys have questions about any of that stuff, just talk to Eric Saffold at AFCO. Side by side, the passes here. I mean, this is pretty incredible. 445 to the 8th, 442 to the 8th. I mean, geez, this thing is rolling, dude. It's awesome. I thought this.
We got more.
Yeah,
we got more. Don't worry.
There's more in the tank. We're just slowly chipping away at it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a better or a cooler setup than a car that's that quick pulling a trailer. And I can only imagine some dude it would be me in the old truck. I'm cruising at 65, just cruising along, and then you guys pass me. I'm like, shit, I got to speed up, man. You know what I mean? I got overdrive. These guys don't have overdrive. They're cruising up past me.
Yeah. Yeah, we do not have overdrive.
Yeah. Man, the rain that day, we waited and waited and waited, but I'm glad we did. I ended up riding with Tom Bagley that day. Had one of the most incredible, just a typical drag and drive night. We get to the track at 5:30 a.m., see the sunrise basically. So it was pretty awesome. And then this shot here, to me is iconic with drag and drive because there's so many normal people around you. There's a semi truck, there's like a Honda of some kind, a Camry on the other side, and then there's you guys pulling a trailer, just cruising along in traffic. Man, this is a badass shot.
That was in Tampa. That was
terrible.
That was going from Leadfoot City on the way down to Bradenton, and it was just it took us. I think the GPS had 35 miles in it, and we were in stop and go traffic for almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
No way,
man!
Like the car never shut off for 3 hours. Like it just was chugging along, and
but it's hot.
And it was warm. It was warm at that point. I mean, we had got a lot of the heat control fixed in the car. Like when we did the first event, Street Meet, with it in 24, we about died in that car. I mean, it was so bloody hot in the car, and it wasn't even warm down there. It was like in the 60s, and we about died in that car. It was just brutal. But we made a lot of changes to it, and
once again, fixed problems.
refine things. And, I mean, that's just it. It's a constant evolution. So,
right. Sealed up holes that blow through from the firewall. Yep. All right. Well, let's move on. Big shout out to Performer Built, Ryan and the team up there. I mean, again, they've put this car in the 10s with the 4L60. They've put a Camaro in the 7s with the 4L60. I mean, look, these guys, GM transmissions, all they focus on. So if you guys want one of those, 4L60, 4L80, 400s, all that kind of stuff, they're beginning to work on 6L stuff as well. So going to be kind of fun to watch all that stuff go on. And then last segment here for the show tonight, going to talk about some other drag and drive stories and things like that. So AFCO Racing, racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling brakes and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers for racers. Check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. So, all right. So I want to talk about some just some other fun stories, because that's what we miss the most. Like, you guys need more social media posts from you. I need more stuff during the event, all that kind of stuff. So
we're not
what are
that
some
good at
fun
that.
things?
I'll tell you that.
Hey, that's what guys like me and Eric are here for. We're here to tell those stories and catch up with you in the parking lots and things like that. So,
well, that's why we're here right now.
Right? What are some fun things that have gone down over the years?
In this car, nothing. There's not much fun that happens in a 6-second street car. It's absolutely terrible. Everybody wants to run in one, and then if they actually ever have the chance to do it, they realize that it's terrible. It's hot.
Oh yeah,
you
look super cool over there, but
exactly. Yeah. But no, other than that, it's
from the outside looking in, it's cool, but it's a rough ride. It's hard to. I shouldn't say it's hard to drive the car, but it's hard to drive the car in traffic when you got to make a lot of turns, just because the steering radius is terrible in it, and with the trailer on the back, and it just makes it a lot more challenging to drive. Thank God we got radios, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be able to communicate.
Yeah, the hand gestures.
Yeah, and that doesn't work. I mean, we have a pretty good system, after we've got like 4 or 5 events in this car now.
Yeah, he does what I tell him.
And it works good. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. And
That's
awesome.
awesome.
It's funny, by the end of the week, you're kind of mentally burnt out, you're physically burnt out, and he'll tell me something on the radio, like, you got to turn left in 2 miles.
And he drives right past.
And I don't even, it doesn't even register.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, dude, where is 2 miles at? That don't mean anything to me.
But probably so. I think the best parts of the week and the most fond memories are, I think, probably just the average people that you see when you're rolling through a little town that have no clue that this is going on, and they decide to pop up a lawn chair in their front yard and watch cars go by, or maybe you get some kids
hold
with
signs up,
a little sign or honk, or this car is a little bit past the checkpoint burnouts and hoodlum stuff of that nature. But obviously there's a lot of people that enjoy that side, with myself included.
Yeah, that's one thing we see. Like, you get much quicker than like a 750 car, and there's no burnouts. Nobody's doing route stop burnouts.
Yeah. The possibility of things going wrong
are very high.
Yeah. And it's, like my car is probably a prime example of that. It averages in the 7s. I keep a very small trailer, very minuscule amount of spare stuff. And, I beat it like it owes me money. And you get, like you said, a couple more tenths faster than that. And it's like, man, this thing it costs too much money to be doing stupid stuff like that with it.
Well, not only that, you got a 2,400-pound trailer behind this thing, and next thing you know, the car kicks sideways or something, and you're in the ditch with it folded up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's just
yeah. See, 850 stuff. That's where it's at, Eric.
Right. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. 10-O's, 850.
There's nothing wrong with an 850 car. I'll tell you, there's a lot of enjoyment that happens with an 850 car. There is no lie there.
Yeah, we love it typically because like that car, like Brian Acton's car is a great example of why I love that class. That car is very fast, but you put the hood on it and some Krager SS wheels, nobody knows. They're not gonna walk past that car and be like, "Oh man!" And like your car, like I mean,
Like my silver
obviously,
car, that silver car is
yes.
I have almost more fun running that car. I can run that car by myself. I don't need, to have somebody there to do anything for me. I mean, it's that kind of car. So that car is a lot of fun to run just because there's no pressure,
Yeah. But see, then you build this big monster behind you, and it's now you're like, we're not.
And that's the problem. You have a car like this, you drive this, and then I hop back into that car that goes low nines, and it feels like a dud. So.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how about favorite roadside repair?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's probably our most memorable is our sick week 2025 when we had to pull the intake off in a hotel parking lot at 1 a.m. I was like, you have got to be kidding. I mean, we were already sleep deprived, at that point. And thank God there was, what happened is, so we drove about 150 miles.
Zero issues.
No problem.
We think that we have the world by
the ass.
It's just, we are the coolest dudes out there. We have a 6-second car. We had ran our first 6-second pass at SGMP ever. 694, 200, something like that. We are the coolest dudes known to man, flying down the highway in a 6-second Chevy 2. And then we went from the top of that mountain to the bottom of Death Valley in about 2.2 seconds.
I mean, because we left there and it's like, like I said, we went 150 miles, no issues.
Burned a tank of fuel out.
And we burned a whole tank of fuel out. And then all of a sudden it just started hammering. And I looked over at him and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So we pulled over. We fixed the push rod. We fixed the rocker arm.
In a gas station, yep.
And we continued on. And we went about 5 miles, and it did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning by now. And so we fixed it again. We put another adjuster in and another push rod, and we went another 5 miles, and it did it again. And it did it bad enough that time where it actually kicked the push rod off of the rocker arm. So the valve, the exhaust valve wouldn't open. So all that pressure was reverting back up through the intake manifold.
Not happy.
And the engine basically shut off, and we coasted down an off ramp and coasted into a hotel next to a gas station. And it was dark. Like there was no street lights, really nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pulled the intake off, and Evan went across the street there and got 3 or 4 gallons of water because we had to drain the water out of it. And we pulled the intake off right there and
cut a slot in the lifter with a Milwaukee 4.5-inch angle grinder
to get more oil to the push rod. And did we open up the oil restrictor?
Yeah.
We pulled the oil restrictor out. We drilled that out, put it back together, and then it was fine. We drove the rest of the week with no issues after that.
Yeah, and it was we went from SGMP to Bradenton. It was like 340 miles the way that we had to go, and I think it was basically 14 hours. We showed up to the hotel in Ellington, and Rovic was there. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "Oh, do you guys go and get breakfast?" And it's like, "No, but we just got here."
We just got here.
We basically went to the hotel room, and he's like, "What time you want to get up?" And I said, "Give me an hour." So we slept for an hour, went to the racetrack, and we were the last car. Obviously, we were an impound at this point in time, but we were the last car to run in the 8 radial group. And I think we went 692 at like 202 or something like that. And the thing that I probably most enjoy is, the last 18 hours of our lives were absolute terrible, but to see the car go down the racetrack and that number pop up on the scoreboard, you forget all that crap that you just dealt with.
Yeah.
Well, that was too, at that point, we still had the steel bumper on the front of the car.
Yeah.
And I told him, I says, "Dude, this car is wheeling out the back."
and I can't see it.
I said, the front of the car is off the ground. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, I'm telling you, I can feel it in the car. The front of the car is climbing off the ground, going through the lights. I could feel it, you know?
And then my buddy sent me a picture on Facebook Messenger, the car looking like Tim Lynch's Mustang, the Outlaw 10.5 car from back in the day. And I'm like, okay, this is a issue that we need to solve.
I'm like, we can't keep doing this. I'm going to crash this car doing this, you know? So yeah, it was pretty rowdy. That's kind of a common problem with these Chevy 2s, though. There's not a lot of front overhang and not a lot of area to pull down on the front of the car. So, and I really didn't want to put a chin spoiler on it because it kind of really takes away from it. You know, it makes the car look like a race car instead of a, you know, I want it to look more like a street car, more incognito, and it takes away from that look. But I can't drive the car doing wheelies at 200 miles an hour either. So you got to pick your poison on that.
Yeah.
So,
well, what's one thing that you guys always have with you, whether it's in the trailer or in the car, something you guys
I was going to say the whole trailer. We need the whole trailer. That's our lifeline. So just spare valve train parts. You know, we have, I mean, in that trailer, we pretty much have most everything other than connecting rod and a crankshaft.
Yeah.
You know, we have enough spare parts to, you know, we got valves, we've got pistons, we have lifters, we've got push rods. I have a whole set of rocker arms. We got a third member,
front tires and wheels.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
how you take
stuff in
a trailer from 700 pounds empty to 2,400 pounds loaded.
Wow, man.
I guess
that's crazy, guys. That's
so there's
crazy.
Lots of parts in that trailer. But, you know, we've kind of learned, and, you know, it's like we said, though, it's all, when you have a car like this, it's preparation, and you have to have, you know, all the things that you can't buy anywhere, you know, like a starter. You know, we have a starter in there. We have a flex plate in there because this car has a weird combination Mazir flex plate in it.
Fuel pump cable for the rear mounted cable drive fuel pump, you know.
Yeah.
Alternator. You know, just all the, you know, water pump because it's got a remote electric water pump on it. You ain't gonna buy that just anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to carry that stuff, you know.
I mean, we Pro 600, we keep a spare smart wire in the car. You know, like you said, once you get past that 850, 80 range, the availability of parts becomes your problem instead of, you know, it's not like we have an LS with, you know, I need a TPS. You can get one from about 50 different people probably. You know, basically, you control your own destiny really when it comes down to it. And hopefully you never have to use those things.
Well, and you don't want to have a $200 or $400 part wreck your whole week because you didn't have it and you just spent $2,000 in fuel to drive somewhere. You know, you don't,
right.
You know, it's economics at a certain point, you know.
Right. And you don't want to go from Wisconsin to Sick Week and it be a $200 piece that kept you from finishing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we even brought a spare engine down just in case during testing. If we had an issue, we could change the engine in the car, you know.
Wow.
Thank God we didn't have to, but you know, you're not going to drive 1,300 miles and, you know, you want to be as prepared as possible.
Right. It was actually funny when we went to Sick Week the first time with the car in 2025. He says, man, Evan, he says, I don't know if I want to bring the 525 as a spare bullet. I'm like, Nick, there's people out there that would die to be able to have a spare engine to bring with them at an event, you know, for pre-event testing or whatever. And it's like, I think we would be really dumb to not bring it because then you'd probably need it. You know, if you bring it, you probably won't have to mess with it. So that's kind of what we bank on is bring everything and hopefully you don't have to touch anything.
And I was just being lazy.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Because I didn't want to put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like, you know, you have to make those decisions. Like, is this something we're going to do? You know, like Rich Keto brings the spare transmission and a drive shaft because he's had to do those before. And he's like, okay.
Well, you got to do that with stick shifts. That's inevitable. You know.
Yeah. The violence. That's why
that's stick shift life right there.
Yeah. Well, what's next for you guys? Which event are you hitting up next?
Well, we're going to do some testing. The car is all freshened up. It's all back together. We fired it a couple weeks ago. I just got the chassis recertified in it a week or two ago. And so we're going to go do some testing at Great Lakes Dragway, which is our local track, I guess, that we can go test at. And kind of get ready for sixth summer.
Yeah.
So
hopefully have a better outing than last year.
Yeah, our sixth summer last year sucked because we didn't even leave Byron day one, which has been our only fail ever in this car. And I don't like failing. I'm not about failing at all. Like when we do stuff, it's like I'm pushing all the chips in. We're gonna go all out. We're gonna do it the way we need to do it. And we both are wired that if we have the parts to fix it, we are going to fix it. And if it takes all day, all night, it doesn't matter. But the things that happened to us down there were just kind of weird problems. We had a couple.
Well, it was my fault. The big one was my fault. I missed something in the calibration, and I wasn't very happy with myself. And it took me about 3 days of studying data logs at the house before I realized what I did. And unfortunately, that actually ended up costing it blew out a exhaust bellow in between the header and the turbocharger, and
which was not fixable at the time at the track.
Now we have spares of those.
I made that a replaceable part with V-bands on it that now can be changed and fixed, and and we have spares of those in the trailer too.
Yeah, and the big thing was like what Nick said is he doesn't spend the time, the effort, the money to go out there and try and play second, third, fourth, fifth place. We want one thing and one thing only, and to take a car of this caliber when you can see the trailer and it's day one and you're not happy with the ET that you've turned in, it's not financially smart. It's not a good thing to drive it 250 miles in the wrong direction to, we're not dealing with a 12-second car here, multiple different facets and, all those things wrapped up. And I went and turned the slip in Monday at Byron, and I came back and I said, hey, we got to have, or he told me, he says, we need to have a discussion. I said, look, I already know what you're talking about. Let's go home. He says, okay. And we started packing the car up.
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it at that point. We had a stupid electronic problem with the smart wire that was kicking our butt, and we didn't really have the right part to fix that. And we kind of did a bunch of hodgepodging with the electronics, with programming.
Yeah,
and
we were using the headlight switch, the
basically the keypad in the car was not functional.
Yeah.
So we had to recalibrate I shouldn't say we, Evan had to recalibrate all the smart wire stuff.
Yeah. The headlight switch, you'd pull it out to the marker position and that would turn the ignition on. And then you would stomp the headlight switch on the floorboard to start the car, but it was a latching switch. So you'd have to stomp it again to effectively disengage.
Turn it off. Wait, so your high beam is still on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a high beam switch on the floor. That's a stock GM high beam switch.
That's so funny. Yeah.
So then he'd go and he'd do his burnout and back the car up, and we've got a master enable boost control data log. So you'd have to pull the headlight switch from the marker position to the low beam position to turn the data log on, and it was a bunch of messing around. But fortunately enough, that's the one benefit of PDMs and things of that nature is you can reprogram a lot of that stuff. Actually, Kane in there, he and his dad Keith drove about an hour and a half round trip to get us some solder flux at like 9:30 on a Sunday night.
Oh my gosh.
He called me looking for some that night.
Yeah. Yeah, and ended up trying to resolder some stuff because we found a pinched wire inside of a module, and like I said, we just ended up throwing in the towel because neither one of us were very happy after struggling like we did.
Well, when you turn in a time slip that's 2 seconds off the pace on the first day, you might as well just be done. It's like,
well, Devin and Josh, that was the day that they ripped the top off the convertible for the last time, and they're just like, the hell with this. Let's just go drive home and eat some ice cream and have fun and hang out.
Dang, dude, it's so crazy. Well, last question here. What do drag and drive events do right? Like what are they doing right for the community?
I think, I mean, as far as being involved in it, I mean, the amount of social media and, the things that you guys do, I mean, I was going to say this earlier and I kind of lost my train of thought, but, the amount of work that you guys do to promote the sport, and, you give us all these, the points championship stuff and, all the extra things that you guys do to promote the drag and drive world that's what really makes it what it really is,
Appreciate that.
So
I hear you. Well, and the one thing I think the one thing that it does right is put people in the car for days on end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise,
that's why we built these cars.
I would never drive this car on the street ever. I don't drive this car. I don't take it to work, So
yeah, the big thing, similar fashion. I mean, the thing that probably stands out most to me is the friendships that by complete happenstance have bud from, parking next to somebody or meeting somebody in a gas station parking lot. A couple of summers ago, I see Frank's been commenting, Frank Webb with the Fairmont Futura. We parked next to him at Six Summer by happenstance. And, 2 years later, we text pretty commonly, weekly, and every single event we hang out and drive together and go out to dinner and stuff like that. Kanan, I saw him commenting just a little bit ago too, Drag Week 2022, we pulled into a gas station outside of Indianapolis to get some Subway, and we parked next to him at the gas pump. And, here it is almost 4 years later. And, I talked to him on the phone this afternoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
the friendships and
just the relationships that you build just by accident,
and even not even necessarily always other competitors, but we were on Drag Week 2023. We ended up winning Pro Street with my car that year, and I was having some problems in a hotel parking lot. Went through, and I charged Frank $100 for injector O-rings one year because he needed them and I had them. No, a gentleman drove by and he saw the car and he pulled in, and his name is Kenny McKee in South Carolina, and he hung out with me in the hotel parking lot from probably 6:30, 7 o'clock at night until about 4:30 in the morning. And he's probably 70, I bet. And we were actually trying to shim the rocker stands on my car because I had a little bit too much preload in the lifters on the LS. And he went into the cab of his truck and grabbed 270 Winchester brass from his rifle that he had shot. And then we cut Modelo beer cans that were in the back of his truck and stamped the beer cans to make shims for my rocker stands in a hotel parking lot. And, I'm friends with him on Facebook to this day and see him, talk awesome. To him there and stuff. And, that's the kind of stuff you don't forget.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah. Those stories would never happen if these were race cars only.
Oh, exactly.
If it was in a trailer, that wouldn't happen. So.
No.
Wow. Well, y'all, I want to say thanks for spending time. I mean, you've almost an hour and a half here on with us. I knew we were going to go over again. That's why I told you before the show. That's why we were going to have you guys on second in behind Brandon, because I knew we would go long. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming in, and congratulations, man. I mean, kicked ass, took names down there. It was pretty awesome. So
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to put you backstage. Stay with us for just a second. I do want to talk just for a second after the show, and then we'll go from there.
You got it.
All right. See you guys.
All right, sir. Take us out of here, man. What a fun show tonight, dude.
Yeah.
Great. Yes. Brandon's conversation was awesome. These guys are great, man. And to spend an hour and a half with them, that truly is like the longest I've hung out with those dudes. But yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to have margaritas and tacos with Brandon at some point. I I'm in. It's going to be fun. And now, we get to go over and bother Nick and Evan whenever we see them next.
Yep,
6 summer.
absolutely. Yep, for sure. All right. Well, again, appreciate all of our race car friends in here tonight. Great comments, great conversations. Appreciate each and every one of you. And like I said earlier, 8 days, we'll be seeing a bunch of our race car friends here at the circuit. And one last time, again, can't do this without these sponsors. If you guys need, we've got discount codes, we've got affiliate links, or we can just get you in contact with a person at one of these companies. So can't do it without these guys. Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performa-Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Lowdoller Motorsports, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk. And what do we got next Wednesday, one day before the circuit kicks off?
I don't know if you're ready for this, but Mr. Tom Bagley will be in the United States, and we will be doing a live show with him, talk about his trip from the UK. We're going to talk about him being at the circuit and all the fun stuff. Him and I have been talking quite a bit lately, and it's going to be super freaking cool, man. I'm excited.
All right. We will see everybody Saturday morning, and have a good night, guys.